Hi there, Steph. Thanks for popping by. So today's card will be the first card of a mini-series using the Greeting Farm stamp set Mermaid, not the tiny one, the slightly larger one. So this one is Maisea, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. I started by stamping with some Memento Tuxedo Black on some Nina Desert Storm. And actually, it was an image I meant to color for the last coloring challenge, but I've been so much into sewing that I haven't had a chance to do very much recently in terms of coloring, but I will tell you a bit more about that a bit later on in the video. So I started by coloring the hair with a very light yellow, because the cardstock is kind of a storm color, desert storm, sorry. I wanted to go with something a bit like a blonde hair, but a bit like straw. Oh, it was an ambulance. A bit straw-like, so I kind of picked this very light yellow, and then I added a brown which has kind of a touch of ginger in it, you know, reddish brown. And finally I went in with a gold pencil, which I have in my box of Prismacolor. And funny enough, it's not glittery, but it's kind of an ashy brown. I don't know if you see how it comes out. And I thought it was quite nice. It's very different. I like I like trying different color combos. I think I got a box of 72. So it's quite nice to do different hair colors and, try different things really. And I will add a buttload of glitter afterwards, so it will kind of add details and complement that. But I suppose I could have stopped before the glitter. I started using glitter a few months back, and then I never stopped. But you don't have to. If you use the pencils, it's fine. So here I'm using a little bit of the colorless blender. So it's kind of I want to say it looks like a resin. It's hard and it doesn't come off, it doesn't rub off on the paper as much as the other pencil. It's like a hard, I want to say resin, it might not be the right word, but that's what it makes me think of. And it kind of smooths the color by almost removing it. I do use a paintbrush, a large paintbrush, but large, not a tiny one, to flick off the excess of pencil so that it doesn't rub off on my paper and it doesn't smear, because it will. Don't do it with your hand too much because it will smear. But the paintbrush is really good for that. But no, it blends really well anyway, so that was good. Another thing, they're very pricey. I think it was 2 for £4 or something like that. I think it depends where you buy it, but just to give you a rough idea. Then I moved on to the flowers, so I went for a girly color. I tried to do different color scheme for each card of the mini-series, and here I went for pink. I thought it would go well with the blonde, ashy blonde color. And I think I work out that I color with the Copic the same way, with the Prisma the same way that I do with the Copic. Before I started using Prisma, I was thinking, oh, I'm not sure which way, I watch people doing it, and I thought, oh, that looks really cool. Obviously, it's sped up, so it looks easy. It's not always that easy, but actually, it wasn't that hard, maybe because I've copied color a lot. Here, I'm packing on a lot of color, so, sometimes my hand does actually hurt, because I want to say rubbing the pen against the paper. That doesn't sound right, but I think you know what I mean. I'm not gentle on my pencil, and I do have a few leads breaking from time to time. But the color is really good. It's really opaque. You don't see the paper through it. That's, if you use that technique, you can see it. It really pops on the Strathmore tone grey. It really pops against the paper, and I felt that was pretty amazing. I never thought there was a medium that could actually do that, and I think it's rather affordable. Depends how big a box you get, but I'm really happy with these pencils, and I don't use them as much as I want to, but I think they will last me a while, and I'm really glad I did buy them because I think they're really good. So here I went a bit on a limb and I started creating a background. I kind of had waves in mind, magical waves, I don't know. I wanted to create a background, but not a full background. So I just added a few waves here and there with a medium blue, and then I added a bit of shading with a dark blue, and finally I added white, which kind of makes me think of, you know, that white thing at the top, on the top of the sea, that you see on the waves. Don't ask me how it's called in English, because I do not know. But that's kind of what it makes me think of. And then I use the blending pen. It's the one that is brown on the outside, or just woody on the outside, and I use that to blend and kind of, I want to say blend, but I want to say melt that white into the paper, so you kind of see it but not quite as much, so it's a lot more subtle, I suppose, but it still adds something to the background. So here we go, that's what I'm doing, and it took me quite a while, so it's all a bit sped up, obviously, because otherwise that video would probably last an hour 20. But you know, I think you get the idea behind it. And then I took my copy at you speaker, and I think I used a pink, which just looked purple on the lead, but it was a pink, and I used it, yeah, you see that looks purple, but I'm pretty sure I used pink, and I placed it on the pinker parts, and then I use a white gel pen, which I dot on the lightest part, and it basically helps to accentuate the contrast between the dark and the light. Although, I mean, the pink was already pretty dark, but I think it adds something, and it's really hard for me to show you that because my lighting is not so great. I tend to color in the evening when the little ones are in bed, so I use not natural daylight, and it's hard for me to kind of catch everything. And it's funny because if you look at it, they are so waxy that you can see the reflection of the light onto them, and I find that quite interesting. But if you look at the end of the video, you will see the photos. They are taken with daylight, so, you know, proper light. Although I do increase a bit of the contrast, but I still think they are quite true to the original card, which I can see with my eyes. Here I made a boo-boo. Be careful if you look on this dark blue wave. I didn't wait long enough, and the Copic didn't dry, the glitter pen didn't dry, and I smeared it and I could not fix that. So just be careful, try not to go over it. I tend to make my paper go round and round, so I do not rub off on whatever ink I'm using, but sometimes it still does happen, so just bear that in mind. And I forgot what I was saying. So anyway, here I go around and I use a black gel pen to do the outline. If you've seen my previous video, you will have heard me say that the pigment pen does not work on that. It destroyed all the nibs, and I was not impressed with that. I wish I'd known before, because yeah, I wasn't impressed with that. So anyway, gel pen. If there is something else out there that works better than a gel pen, because I find the gel pen, the downside is when it's wet, it looks shiny and pretty contrasted, pretty dim, but when it dries out, the black is not quite as obvious. And I do like the contrast to have a very nice black pigmented pen. So if there's something out there that you can think of that's like a gel pen, not quite a glaze pen, because a glaze pen does release a bit too much ink, and then the outlines are not thin anymore, because I think that's a 0.3 to Sakura black gel pen, 0.3 something. The glaze pen is a bit thicker, and it wouldn't work as well, I think. So anyway, I've added that gel pen. Here you can use the pigment pen, because I'm not going over the pencil, I'm going around it, so that works. But it really adds contrast, and I think it looks really nice. I also added a bit of Nouveau crystal drop, and you can see it better on the photo as well, but it kind of complements each other. That's a lot of glitter. So here we go. That was the card for today. I hope you find it interesting. There's 2 more coming. Keep an eye open. I did add a hint of shading at the back with some warm grey marker, which are very subtle on this Desert Storm cardstock, but I think it looks quite nice, so that's what I was looking for. So I think it's quite cool. And here's a card. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you find it interesting. Please don't hesitate to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. The photos are on my blog. Thanks again, and have a great day. Bye.